Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka and La Peñita de Jaltemba, Mexico. That's a long distance. Somebody should Google that.
Wow.
Let's see here. All right. Okay, it's there. Internet's a little bit slow. It's
I'm
coming.
getting a bit of a lag in my camera.
Yeah, it'll work
Is
itself
that a
out.
problem?
No, it's not a problem. It should get better. It takes a couple of minutes. All right, here we go. Let me tag you. Edit. All right. It's always nice to talk to a new friend. And you came recommended by somebody. I can't remember who it was. All right. Boom.
Marina.
Marina.
I think so. Yeah.
Marianne Savino. That's who it is. Marianne Savino.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Marianne.
Yeah, I think the signal's a little bit weak on your end, but we can hear you fine.
My end.
Yeah. It's all right.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll get better.
Should I try move the internet around?
No. It was going good a second ago. It should catch back up.
Okay.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
It was.
Yeah, we're going to work with the energy that's available to us. So this is our second show of the day. We have a new friend here, Nori, and she's in Sri Lanka, but I don't think that's where she's from, but we'll find out. So welcome to the show. Thank you for coming in and sharing space with us and honoring us with your presence. I'd like to ask you the famous Soulogy question. Have you always been this weird, or did you have a wake-up experience?
I think I'm stuck. No.
We can hear you.
All right, I'm going to work with it a little bit slow. Bring in. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I think my answer is I've always been a little bit weird. And that is because I've always been an artist. So you've heard that saying, artists see the world in a different way. So I can track all the way back to when I was young. I saw the world in a completely different way, and I see the world in a completely different way than a lot of people. So I guess I was proud of being weird, and I always will be.
Well, this is where all the weird people hang out, and weird's not weird anymore. I think it's starting to be the highest frequency seen and practiced as the world slips into madness and ridiculousness, and we go deeper in ourselves and start taking responsibility and accountability for our lives, and we're walking into some higher frequencies. It's a bit strange. The world's changing a lot. I'd love to hear a little bit about your story.
Yes, we're now the sick ones. My story. So I'm based, you asked that question. I'm based in Portugal. I live off grid with my family there. And I have been an artist. I guess I started drawing when I was about 12 in a completely new way. Like it was almost as if just a switch came on and I just started to draw and paint. And since then, it's something I've always leaned on, something that is, I would call a gift from that, I treasure very much. And it's helped me in many ways, actually, like in healing, through my communication with the world, with nature. And for many years, I was more of a traditional artist, and which, like oils and acrylics and big murals. And then for a time, I kind of just let it to the side, and I became an activist and kind of took on the world and wanted to save the world. But I was always using my art to bring awareness. I have some beautiful stories that as we traveled around, I traveled with my partner and took on issues and things that, like, for example, I think my main story is this story of a sentient being called a dugong. And this is a marine mammal, vegetarian, and he eats seagrass. So very, very peaceful, likes to do yoga in the morning. And one day we were traveling in very remote islands, and I was swimming and I met this incredible being. And I just kind of, after that moment, I just let everything fell away. My whole world, I just let it go, and I just focused on this incredible being. So for a time, we were living on an island. I would wake up just before the golden sunlight came over the sea, and I would slip into the water and I would sing a song, and he would come to meet me. So this is like something out of a dream, like you're meeting the sentient being, he's choosing to be with you. And about the size of a whale, mind you, so not small like a dolphin. And I spend many days and weeks communing with this incredible being. And I would say the energy is the same as a whale or a dolphin. And I believe this is when my art started to change, because I felt changed after this. On the one hand, we went into like extreme project. We ran our own charity to protect this beautiful creature, which actually means protecting the whole ecosystem, because a dugong, like a frog or some other or a whale, is an indicator species. So you have to save the whole ecosystem to save them. They're very fragile. And so all along, I threw myself into this project because staring eye to eye with a creature such as this, a sentient being, the wisdom and the peace and the trust, he transferred my first codes, I would say. So a transmission is like energy or a feeling in a different form given to someone else. And he gave me these incredible codes of what life is meant to be like, our original blueprint of, human co-creator with Earth. And these visuals of how our children used to swim with the children of the dugongs. And that's how Earth is meant to be. So usually when these codes and these transmissions, sometimes it takes time to process. So I was still doing a lot of project work to kind of protect this beautiful dugong. I called him Luna because he has a scar of a moon on his side. And so that's how my first kind of feeling of art taking a different meaning for me, or seeing art in a new way happened for me. Even though for many years I was still like, I would paint in the temples, dugongs, the island was Hindu, so we'd use the art to inspire and bring awareness to this incredible creature. And yeah, and back then, this was quite some time ago, I had this kind of passion about saving him. And in a way, I could see the future. I felt the future coming. And yeah, and it's not to make everybody feel sad, but because the dugongs are not sad, but there is a big situation that's happened, and the seagrass is now all around the Andaman Sea, which is where we are. The seagrass is dying, and the dugongs are leaving us. So I wanted to bring I was very passionate about bringing his message, and now I understand I can bring it through the art. What he gifted me, I can bring it through to the world. And yeah, I mean, we can do our best now, but not many people even know what a dugong is. You know, he actually is a cousin of the elephant. So he's like an elephant with no trunk that looks like a whale, that's very slow and peaceful. Cousins of the manatee, actually. And the manatees do much better because they can eat the grass from the sides of the rivers, whereas the dugongs are very specific about the kind of seagrass they need, which is why they are the indicator species. So just recently, like very recently, I have I started to do some research, and I'm realizing that they really are leaving this area. The dugongs are. There might be some pockets still left, but the seagrass needs to evolve and change before the population can get stable again. And so, yeah, maybe we can all just send a bit of love now
Yeah,
to this
that's
beautiful
that's an incredible
being.
share. Now, as I listen to you, I'm like you
Thank
with the dugong with Luna, because to me it seems like the two of
you.
you
Yeah,
were exchanging codes, and that's really what we're doing now. And so, as I'm listening to you, I'm hearing
yeah,
different streams. You know, not just the words you're saying, but actually feel the frequencies. I mean, this is the kind of environment that we're in now. You know, as we expand collectively. So as I'm listening to you,
yes,
I'm looking over your left shoulder, and I'm looking at your painting, which speaks to so many things: the Lyrans, the dolphins, the galactic, the kind of the rose in the middle. You know, there's just so much in that painting, and I feel like that
yeah.
might be an example of the connection and the message and the intelligence that Luna shared with you. It seems like it goes deeper than just the dugong.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Now, I also rescue animals. So in Portugal, people bring me birds, and in the spring season, and that what I wanted to share was the message of the birds, the message of the trees. Here in Sri Lanka, I've been very connected with the trees because the trees are giving reverence in every temple. And so the trees' energy is like so strong. And if you go up and like say hello, you can feel that tree like says, gives you a hug right back. And so it's not just the message of Luna, it's the message of all of creation. And this is part of what I mean, of the codes that I'm here to share is all the birds and the bees and the trees, they're just waiting for us to be friends. They're just there going, hey, just like focus your attention on me for 1 second and like say hello. Like we want to be friends with you. I reared a blackbird about 2 summers ago, and it's a he he surprised me because usually blackbirds are very wild at heart. So it'll be like, yeah, I'm going to have some food. And as soon as I'm ready, I'm gone. But this blackbird, he wanted to, he became so friendly and so trusting, and he had so much to say. He was saying, the birds remember when we went out into the forest and put our hands out, and they would come and be our friends, and that they're waiting, that something has shifted. And I track Sandra Walter, she tracks the magnetics of the earth. It's things are shifting, the veil has lifted. As much as there's like chaos, there is this other lens. If you can see through the new eyes at this a different window, through a different window, even though there's that chaos. I've got a peacock just outside my window right now.
You can't make this stuff up.
They're just like, come and be our friends.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, like you can't make this up. And anyone that's been watching the show the last few months, you probably haven't seen any of it. But I've been living in this little town in Mexico, 1 block off the beach, and I go to the beach every night. I'm having these experiences like you're talking about. I'm totally,
Yeah.
And the bottom line being, you said this, do you have the lenses to see the new, with the new vision? But it's really the old vision. It's nature. It's natural. It's our natural nature. Everything is there. And I'm laughing because I heard the same thing a few times over here because there's a bunch of coconut trees on the beach. And I'd be walking by, and I wouldn't notice them. And then I'd hear, hey, hey, remember why you came here? Remember the conversation we had the other night or whatever, or the birds or whatever? Yeah, so I've been experiencing the same thing. And my point about experiencing it is that I can't be the only one. As the individual goes, so goes the collective. We all have different pieces. Some people are living in nature, so it's almost an unconscious thing. Living with animals, so it's almost an unconscious thing. The chaos is there, but it's no match for this natural nature. It's truly, from a human perspective, miraculous and magical, and that's not some bullshit. That's the truth. And
No.
people are having experiences like you've had with Luna. I've had many, not to that degree, not to that level, with one animal. Although I had a bird come to me on this beach the last few weeks for 12 nights in a row, and that was a pretty cool initiation. But so this is happening, and like what you were talking about with Sandra, she's tapped into this, and we've worked together before, but I follow her enough to know, and there's a few others like her out there. So this is really coming online now, and I really feel like it's going to come on. I really feel like it's going to come online as people reveal their stories, like you're doing tonight. So thank you. Keep going.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much. I wanted to add this piece about art because it can help. So I've become really interested in finding these ways that art can help open those lenses, or can inspire people into seeing the miracles of our creation, of our world. And I started actually teaching during COVID. A lot of children, homeschool children, and I came across this work of a very old school artist called Betty Edwards, who teaches, and then I kind of integrated this into my own teaching, where accessing the creative mind through art can actually open up all these channels. So we have this beautiful brain, right? So our right brain is our creative mind. That's this side connected to the left side of the body. And our left brain is our logical mind, is connected to our right side of our body. Now, in society, when we go to school and get a job and get a mortgage and all of these, but also really when we do go to school, it's very focused on rewarding the logical mind. And so essentially, if you didn't do art or went to like a public school, you have been only rewarded in your essentially rewarded, or there's only brain pathways that are used to your logical mind. Now we need our logical mind, but the magic of the creative mind is here. Sorry, I get mixed up. It's the seat of our intuition. It's our inner voice. It's our connection to our wisdom. It's our inner compass. And so essentially doing art or being creative creates these brain pathways to our creative mind. And I always tell my students, and even if they're 5 years old or if they're 55 years old, we have an inner artist, and our inner artist is in our creative mind. And we just need to, find exercises to find that artist, to tap into that artist. And it's amazing when one of the main exercises that I do that blows my mind is I get my students to draw upside down. And I'm known as the upside down teacher in my community. And this is like the most incredible exercise because your logical mind just steps out. Your logical mind is basically, I can't handle this. I don't know what that is. And your creative mind comes through. And everyone who does an upside down drawing, you turn it around and you're shocked at what you can create. Because we all have this amazing creative ability. We all have it. We're all an artist inside. And this is one of the more you do it, the more the pathway gets strengthened. It's like your telepathic abilities. It's about like meditation. It's like learning the piano. The more you do it, the more that brain pathway gets strengthened. And then the more your eyes see the world in a different way. You start that quote of seeing the world like an artist. It comes from somewhere. It's true. There is that energy behind it. You do start to see the light in a different way. You start to see the shadows. You start to see the creature. You see the world in a new way. And so this became my passion, is to use art in a new way to open up these channels of essentially your intuition, your inner compass, and your inner artist. And this can really catalyze changes and change and create like something new in someone's world just through sketching or using art.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think everybody has experienced that creativity, even if we've been unconscious of it. We might find something that we really like to do, like to skateboard, and you become better and better at it. There is an artistic, creative quality to that, So, and yeah, I totally get the thing about the education systems in the last 120, 150 years. It's been about programming and conditioning and really de-emphasizing the right brain and emphasizing the left brain. But still, I think, there's a lot of creative outlets that we've had and different strokes for different people, different folks. And so I think it has remained alive. And part of what I think is happening in terms of your transmissions with the elemental, the ocean kingdom, the trees, etc., other people, nature, something is growing stronger in the right brain frequency, if you want to put it that way. It's becoming more and more expanded, like a contagious virus. And I think it's to your point about the art or any creation done through that creativity, a song, it could be so many different things. When people witness that, it expands. It's like you meeting Luna, okay? Every time there was an exchange.
Yeah.
And so we're basically mirroring that
Yeah.
frequency, that ray of light, that resonance, that sound, whatever you want to call it. We're emitting that, and it's familiar to each other, just like the familiarity that the other kingdoms have with us, where we're finding out that we're actually the last one to the party. But it's catching on, and it's a real thing, and it will totally change this world. It will change this world, and it will. The more people that witness the things that you're talking about, and even a conversation like this, it's like turning code on within their, within their field, within their soul. It's remembering. So yeah, this is a great. I'm just
Amazing.
curious. I'm curious about you. Like, this is, it feels very organic, and I can relate to that. Like, I really feel from the earth as much as I'm connected to the stars or whatever. But something about the earth, Mother, there's something about, it's all right here in front of you. We don't even have to look out there. You know what I mean? But there's something about it that's coming online now. It really is. I mean, I've been living in this town for 10 months, or I don't know, I can't think right now. Several months, 7 or 8 months. And there's dogs all over the streets. There's horses walking around. There's cats. There's birds. I mean, but it's like a big symphony. It's like a frequency. And I would just pinch myself walking, and I think, I don't hear them barking. I don't hear any dogs fighting. I don't, it's natural. The people here are natural. And I think that there's probably a lot more of this going on than we might think. It's just getting the word out and people seeing the artistic and creative expressions and having conversations, so everybody knows that it's okay to be weird.
Yeah, for sure. And this is to continue in what you're saying is a lot of folks are quite a little bit afraid of this new AI technology, but I'm with you. I'm like, don't be afraid of it. It's like it has no power. We are the organic, the organic timeline. Just I had this visual of, walking down your street with the horses and the dogs and the birds and the families, and that is what is true, and that is what we focus on, and the rest will fall away. Even now, a lot of artists are getting freaked out about AI, and but I'm finding that, my people are attracted to me because I have no AI. It's gonna flip on itself because humanity as a collective is gonna really seek out the organic. They're gonna get tired of that crap and just be, be magnetized to the earth, the hand, what comes from a human being, the creativity that comes through a magnificent human being. That's what we're going to be magnetized to. So let's not worry let's not worry. Let's not put too much focus on what's going on in that world, and just keep our attention on the good things, the organic timeline.
Well, I mean, it the things that we see in each of our lives is presented to us as a mirror for us. So we do have to be careful. I think AI is a good example, okay? Because, there's probably 3 ways you can go. But really to me, there's 2. But you could say 3. One is that you totally hit it head on and you work with it, and your belief system is such that you work with that energy in a sense, and you feel that, just like working with a person, like you feel that you can judge the level of balance and harmony and a potential of collaboration or not, right? Or you can say, I'm the real tech.
Yeah.
I'm the real tech. I'm the tech. I'm the organic tech made of the God substance. Is AI?
Yeah.
Well, I think everything is God. So that's the way I would put it for myself. Now, I choose to engage with certain people and certain frequencies, and some I don't, because that's just my natural place. That's the neighborhood I live in with the cosmic jigsaw puzzle, right? So I look at it that way. I use AI very little, very little. And certainly, and I don't use it for anything artistic, but that's okay. Other people, I have a friend of mine that's done some amazing work. He's making a children's series called The Starseed Chronicles. Shout out to infusedlights.com. And it's this animated with music, all done with his connection to AI as he sees as a mirror of him. And it's made for kids, explaining to them the ascension and what's happening on the earth right now. All right. So it's all over the board. And I feel like that,
Beautiful.
the main thing is whatever you're approaching, whatever it may be, it could be a giant, being. It could be dark. It could be light. It could be fat, skinny, whatever. But how open is your heart? How open is your heart? Because that says a lot. How open is your mind? How open is your trust? How open are you to the question of life and death? I mean, there's so many things we can throw in there. But through it all, there's these synchronicities, this growing telepathy that I feel is regulated or proportionate to the level of how open our hearts are, just like you with Luna, just like us right now, that is giving us the signs, giving us the synchronicities, the timing, and it's moving very fast, and we're able to stay in this space for longer and longer and longer. It's truly getting embodied and anchored onto the earth and into ourselves, or turned on. I don't know which one it is. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Embodied. This is something I've really been focused on in my journey at the moment, my process, and that is bringing that soul down into our body and switching on our technology and learning how our own technology, our vehicle works, and the creativity, the creation that can come out of it. And in many ways, art has, for many thousands of years, held the keys to this, spanning all the way, even from Sumeria to Egypt, ancient Egypt, through the Renaissance, and ancient Tibet, especially ancient Tibet. There has been a line of a lineage of artists, let's say, sacred artists, that embedded these keys and symbols and answers to what we're seeking into the art. And it's been passed through millennia, through the artwork. The Tibetans were really clued up with this. I don't know if you've ever seen some of the pictures of Padmasan Baba, the master Tibetan, with his rainbow body, rainbow light field. And this was common practice in ancient Tibet, to have, it's called.
Yeah, I thought you were talking
Go
about.
on.
I thought you were talking about you were talking about the artwork, the ancient artwork, and then you referenced the gentleman, and I didn't recognize the name, but I do remember, reading somewhat extensively about them, and I remember the pictures they had, and I remember the stories they had. One of the stories was that several of them over the time had reached a state in solitude, where at some point the rest of them would come in to check on them, and they would just be a small figure, almost like a mummy but they had transformed into the etheric field or the light body and left this physical, because that order of monks or priests or whatever had done it for so many years that they had perfected a process to do that. They all ended up doing the same thing and creating these little dolls, basically. And I saw those pictures too. But
Yeah.
but yeah, continue.
So you're talking about the process of the transformation of the body into light, into the light body. But before, what I was speaking to was the keys and the symbols that are hidden in the artwork, sometimes in the statues, yes, but primarily in the artwork of embodiment. So bringing that soul into the body and fully embodying, and then, of course, later you could transfer into light, if you like. And so the devotees of Tibetan Buddhism knew this. It was common knowledge that you could meditate with intention in front of these artworks, particularly of specific masters like Padmasambhava with his rainbow light body. And he's depicted with the rainbow shield around him, and receive the direct transmission from him. So the artwork was used as a gateway for the master to gift activations or keys or symbols to actually assist the individual in becoming embodied in this earth plane. And it was common practice. It's known. The practice is called Ekagata, and they became supremely good at it. But also through the Renaissance, there was this passing of knowledge from artist to artist, and even I always call it the cave of the beasts in the Vatican. There are pieces of art hidden. I mean, the secrets are hidden in plain sight. There are symbols and signs and portals which are actually connected to this line of light or the line of knowledge, which is to give us the keys to embody our physical body completely, and then receive freedom because we are in our body. So I've been tracking this for some time, and also working on in my own practice of fully coming into the body. And it's a work in progress, because I spent a lot of my younger years living from, let's say, here up in the beautiful etheric space where the colors are bright and everything works out, and the beings and the experiences are out of this world. But I had to learn, to bring my soul down and actually work from my womb space, the hara for the brothers. And so that is like our knowledge is opened like an umbrella down to from working from the womb space, the hara. And another mentor of mine taught that we actually have another eye in our womb space. So I encourage you to just take a moment and settle, and when I count to 3, to open that eye in your hara, in your power space. So let's do that now. 1, 2, 3. Open that eye. And so all the focus is on our power creation place. And yes, working from this place is a whole new experience. Again, it's another level of how you see the world. It's a deeper window to the world. And this is how I have been creating my recent artwork from this place.
That's beautiful. It I talk to a lot of people, and it's interesting because their story, which isn't their old story, it's their now story, their present story, sounds and feels and has the same characteristics as yours does. It's just a different story. The frequency of the present living moment, you might say, in a person or being expressed through this person, it's the same feeling. I can feel it. I can feel it. And I think the most important thing, and you said many things that were very intriguing and very important in the story, the codes in the story, just like the codes in the art. We left the codes and we've been leaving the codes, right? But the most important thing that you said was to have, because it is, our imagination is connected to our intuition, to the quantum entanglement of the universal morphic field, to the Akashic, to everything. And so we have this connection naturally. But in order to do it here on Earth in the physical body, there's only one way to do it. And that is, what I call the soul highway, which is to bring it all into your body, into every thought, into every word, into every action. And it's see, it's a work in process, but because
Peacocks,
of course, yeah, and there's no mistakes. So it's a work in process for all of us, but we're making major strides. We're having huge levels of expansion. It's affecting the network, the inter-network between us all in moments like this, not just with each other, but with the animals. This isn't the first time this has happened, but it's happening more frequently. And it comes down to not spending our time, because if you're thinking and constantly connecting out there, you're not in your body. And this is what the whole experiment and experience is about, is to appreciate life, to get life, to understand truth is only one thing, to understand the interconnectedness between us and everything. And therefore there's just so many things that are on this earth that don't even exist. They're just all illusion, every one of them. It's been a mind fuck, basically. But we are doing this now.
Yeah.
We are doing this now. And the animals and everything else, everything in front of us has consciousness. Everything does. We're going to see the animals first. I said on the last show, who, by the way, my friend was from Portugal. So today's Portugal Day on Soulogy. Because that's where you're from. But I was telling her, because I go to the beach every night and I commune. And last night or the night before when I went, this thing hit me across the nose. And it's, it's dark and it's, I'm at the breeze in the ocean and under the coconut trees. And I thought, what the hell was that? Because there's never nothing like that out there. There's birds, it wasn't going to rain. I mean, so whatever. Anyway, it came back and did it again. And I heard, in that language, I'm a fairy. You're getting closer. It's not just some animal. It's so that's the truth. Nature is speaking to us. How do you think that the indigenous, the aboriginal, how did they learn about herbs and the different things? How did they learn about ayahuasca? How did they learn about mushrooms? How do they learn about foods? What's poisonous? What's not? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more to it, but there has to be that connection with what's presently in front of you, the God source in front of you. It's not there by accident. And then the natural evolution or the natural relationship of collaboration and co-creation that's driven by the fact that we're all the same thing. If I hurt myself, I hurt you. If I hurt you, I hurt myself. And vice versa. Yeah, I think it's changing fast.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see how it changes just because we're humans and we have to know how things work. But that's the other thing that's going away is the need to know anything, like that you know anything. But even the need to know anything, like where are we going? Where's this bus going? Well, that's the whole point. That's life. That's living. That's the whole point. You don't, like Joseph Campbell says, if you don't get it here, you won't get it anywhere. There is no time. Eternity has no time. We're right here, right now. So make the best of it. Every night we die, and every morning we wake up again.
It's a spiral. Yeah. Indeed, the whole universe is based on codes, sacred geometry, which essentially makes spirals. So there is no time. We just need to jump into the spiral and ride. I wanted to just share that peacock that had a lot to say earlier. I was quite interested in the Buddhist view of the peacock, and I found out that they're actually really sacred birds out here. They're in our gardens, on our rooftops, and the reason is because a peacock can eat very poisonous things, from poisonous berries to a cobra even, and this has given them some mysterious power from the Buddhist viewpoint, that peacock has the ability to change poison into something good. And this blew my mind because it's so relevant as well in our life, and how, our processes where, we can take, this is something I learned as well, to take poison, for example, something that a frequency or an emotion that may be poisoning our body, with our thoughts, for example, or a story that we're holding on to, and to flip that into nectar, to find, into something good, find the gift in that story or frequency, and because we hold it in our body, it's very healing to do so. And I was, very happy to find this symbol in the peacock, and peacock is revered here, given a very prominent place in his life as he wanders around. What I really love about Sri Lanka is that I found, because of this foundation of Buddhism, which is in the area where we are mostly Buddhist, and we've had some really lovely interactions at some monasteries. One of the primary foundation teachings is love and kindness, love and compassion. And so, in a way, I feel like the trees, and especially the wildlife, the birds, the wildlife responds, like they feel the difference. There's a difference in the energy, where you're walking down the road and the peacock crosses and the cows are on the side of the road, and there is white herons walking around in the city, and the wildlife is given the space to go along with their day, and in the temples they are given reverence, like the peacock story. So this is something I really am loving about this place where I am, because in a sense the veil is thinner, because the wildlife and the trees are responding already, and so it doesn't take much. Because I'm pretty sure that wasn't coincidence that the peacock came to the window and gave us a call.
No, it wasn't
in
a
our
coincidence.
call. So
It was.
yeah,
It was.
and
It
so
was
it's
not.
so
It was
much easier to feel. Yeah.
no, and and there's even the peacock, represents far more than the peacock family. It's the avians, it's the blue avians. I mean, it says, they look totally Pleiadian with their colors. I know there's different colors of peacocks, so the white
You
peacocks.
stare at them.
Yeah.
They look unreal. Like, you look at this bird and you're like, how can you be real? Like, you're a magnificent creature. walking around the gardens and the streets, the colors and the light falling on this incredible being it blows your mind.
Well, everything like you said. I mean, it's the reason that the codes and keys are left in art, in sacred text, and so on, is because everything is replicating, everything is replicating the original geometry, you might say. The code is everywhere. The code is the peacock. The code is, me going out there and the thing going across my nose twice, or it's constantly talking to us. And so even if we look at the chaos, well, the chaos is set up on a distorted symbology. That's why you see the signs that you do with McDonald's and all of those, the car emblems and Tesla, all those are emblems of mythology and really frequency and energy and distorted with the intent to control sacred geometry. So, but the natural nature is a constant synchronicity. They're becoming more and more frequent. Like, especially if I just look at the last 2 weeks. If I just look at that window, and I've talked to enough people, they're feeling the same thing, or at least they're See, here we go. See, that is not a coincidence. This happens to me all the time now, and I know it's happening to other people. They've been waiting for us. They've been waiting for us. I've had this thing. I've had this thing where all my life I have kind of been afraid of horses, although I know I have this natural connection with them. Like, and I feel like it's past lives or whatever. That's not even important. But so in this town, I'll walk to the beach a certain way, and I went that way, and there was these 2 horses there, a brown horse and a white horse. And I stopped, and I was present with him, and I spoke to him from my mind, and nothing really happened, right? But the next time I came, they communicated with me. And then the third time I came,
Wow.
even before I turned the corner where he could see me, it was the brown one, he was like doing his foot and stuff. He knew I was coming. So it taught me something. Then I had some more horse encounters. But see, if these things are happening to someone like me who hasn't had these experiences before, and one's doing it, well, I know many are doing
Wow.
it, but it's happening so fast we don't even have time to educate each other, because the education, for lack of a better word, comes through the experience itself, where you're not thinking, where everything is spontaneous and present. That's embodiment. That's not being out there. That's what you're talking about. We have all these ways to even include talking about the monks, the Tibetans, which was just their thing, right? That's just the way it went. But the whole point is we're to be here. We're to be here. So if you want to embody, then fucking be here. That's the whole point. Be here, right where you're at, because it will all start communicating with you. That's faith. Faith is not looking for the answers anymore. It's not, it's like, wait, something's really different now. Something has really changed. The heart is opening, you might say. And if the heart is opening, then the heart in all of us is opening, because it's all bigger than we are. But there's still that chaos thing.
Yeah.
And that's part of what has gotten us to this point, because you realize through the contrast of it what's real and what's not. And I guess everyone is allowed their own way to evolve, because so much of this is unconscious, even for people like us, even for everybody I know, even for Sandra Walter, I mean, there's still a level of unconsciousness, and we know that because we have experiences, and then we think, oh my God, wait a minute, I didn't realize that this happened or that happened. And we just keep getting more aligned with, what I would call like the Trinity energy, which is you, me, and the collective. Everything I do, I serve myself and I serve you equally. I serve this universal equally. That's one way to explain it. Another way is that we're connected to everything, which is kind of how you started this whole conversation, because of the behavior of the plants and the animals and the language that's being remembered with those other kingdoms, the elementals and the ocean and everything, right? Here, though, not out there. Well, out there is connected too, but this is where we're embodied.
And for sure, and just to continue along what you were saying is, I feel like not much is needed now to connect in this way. So before, I used to think that I need to have a 2-hour practice. I need to do my yoga. I need to meditate for 1 hour. I have to eat right. If I have some sugar, that's going to mess things up. And, all of those things really help to purify this beautiful vessel. But it feels like... Thank you. Thank you. It really feels like...
I think that's a masculine peacock, and he's really got something for you. Because right when that was happening, the timer on the on the counter on the screen, it was 55 minutes 55 seconds. It was 55:55.
Wow, that's amazing. He's just staring at us through the window. Yeah, I guess my point was we can do all those things, but we've come to a point where we have to just have a belief. We just need to believe and have a good intention, and these miracles can unfold before our very eyes. And we can use things like art or song and dance, and that really is helpful. But I just want to leave this message to inspire everyone. Just, we don't need much anymore. The world around us, the creation around us, just like this peacock, is just like standing there wanting to connect with us and show how much magic surrounds us in our lives.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with her, what she said. But yeah, I mean, there's, I have a friend, a lot of people know him. He transitioned in October of 2021. He was very well known. And, he came to me after he transitioned a few times, and he said to me right afterwards, he said, as this happens, you will find out that everything that you thought was not true. And what that told me as time has gone on is that everything is an illusional situation except for one thing. And that one thing comes down to one thing, which is what we're actually explaining by what we're experiencing and where we're headed, because you can see it, you can feel it. It's not going to change. And now there's 33 people in the house. See these numbers? The peacock was going off. It was 55, 55. And but this is really happening. And the way it's going to grow, or the way it grows, is to witness it. Is to simply witness someone or something that's pure, innocent, genuine, truth, love, the real thing. Like, there is no word, the only thing, right? However you want to put it. And that's it. That's it. It turns on more and more and more. It's kind of like, we had, even light workers, starseed, people that want to say they're in that category, whatever the case is, even though, at this point in time, I'm going to put myself in there, as we spend too much time out there, or any time out there, we're not in our body. And that's how this code that we're creating is going to come in, is by being in our body and being all-inclusive to everything that we run into, good, bad, or ugly. But many of us are on a path, and we've been on a path because of our personal transformation, that the universe is working with us. It's reciprocating with us, and our lives are becoming more balanced, more relaxed, more abundant, and it's a whole different experience. And I think that's what's turning on, and that's what the plants and the animals, etc., are tapped into, saying, we're waiting on you guys. And it really does come down to engaging those things. It really does. That's why nature is us. Nature. This is our natural nature. AI, I don't think is a boogeyman. It's just a different version of something. But to me, organic is the way, and I'd rather engage at the beach or in nature, in the forest, on the mountains, or whatever. February 7th, I lost my phone here in Mexico, and I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a phone for 6 weeks, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So I bought a cheap phone now, and I only have one app on it. But the point is I realized, I wasn't like an addict about it, but you always have your phone. It's like becomes part of your body. Where's my phone? But I noticed everybody on their phones. And I noticed so.
Yeah.
And so, and then it becomes conscious, and then it changes. That's the thing that I feel is another distinction about what's going on, a characteristic or an occurrence, and that is that I've noticed with myself and other people is when you come into the awareness now, like say I came into the awareness of, oh my God, I didn't realize how my phone had that much control over me or whatever. It changed. As soon as, it used to be, it comes into your awareness, you have to go through a process or a modality or some kind of, initiation, and then it happens. But this is instant now. Like you don't have to tell me that the birds talk to us.
Yeah.
Because it's happened, it changed my awareness, and it continued. I could have just said, oh, that's my imagination. I'm crazy, I need, whatever. I'm making things up or whatever. But that's not. And that's what's tricky, because we know certain things have been suppressed, but one of them, and this is what you said at the beginning about schools, the imagination's suppressed. So the imagination is part of our transformation. It's part of our comeback. And that's why the artistic expressions are so important, because they really light people up. I shared a post today, and it said, something like this: the wonderful thing about music is that you can have one song that millions of people listen to, and each one of them has their own personal interpretation and experience. So that tells me that it carries this uniform, energetic blast, but everybody receives it in their own way. But they're all equal, and they're all unique, but they're all part of the whole. And that kind of, to me, describes the whole thing that we're doing here as a group, This started with the Luna.
Aho. Yeah. And I would love to speak to what you just shared, because I feel like it's a golden key that you just dropped, a golden key code. And that is, being in the body and being present. And a lot of teachings, just to bring awareness to that, a lot of teachings that we have maybe gone through has been a movement of up and out. So in past years, I've done meditations and spent a lot of time moving up and up there. And so as just another key to add to that is this movement coming back down, back into the body, and visualizing or feeling that's your soul coming down that channel and actually landing in this vessel. And there's another beautiful mentor that does amazing work, and that's Dr. Sue Morton. She's actually just releasing a new book. And I've been doing some of the practices that she talks about, and it's it's amazing, because we have this awareness, we have this ability to actually feel tangibly. It's the feelings in the body that hold the keys and the frequency and the language that is our inner wisdom. And this downward moment really was a key for me to bring that. So, oh my gosh, there is actually a bird sitting on my windowsill right now. That's never happened.
You can't make this stuff up.
No, I wish I could swing that camera just like that, but I'm scared the setup's gonna go offline or something. Yeah, there is actually a dear sister taught me this, which was the beginning of my journey back into my body. And once a month, our body actually, it's like a mirror of plant medicine. We do it ourselves. So our pineal gland releases those chemicals and travels downward. So it's this downward movement once a month when our sign moves into the moon. And so that's easy. Just look it up on Google when your sign moves into the moon. So you'd get a date once a month. And you can just sit in meditation and, bring your soul in. And if you do it with intention, you can almost have your own trip. You don't need anything anymore. Your body has everything. We don't need to take chemicals to make this process happen. It's a natural process. And when I did it, I was guided by this sister, and I was actually taken into an altered state for 3 days. And it was a 10-minute experience, which took me 3 days to process. And it was the first time I was in my body, because when I shouldn't have been eating ice cream, but I felt like having ice cream. I tasted ice cream, and it felt like I was tasting it for the first time. It was quite an experience. And so I'm really grateful for this sister who gifted me this experience, because it's a baseline of what it feels like when the soul is in the body, when my soul is in my vessel. And so I have a baseline to feel from. So sometimes I can like, sometimes when I've been dreaming, I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm just here. Like, all I am in here, just bring it back down. It's a practice, an awareness, a presence. And the more you do it, just takes a second. And your soul wants to be in the body. We are meant to be embodied. And that's when the magic really starts to happen, and our abilities switch on a whole new level. It's when we are here in this present moment in our body.
Yeah. 100,000,000,000%. And I really feel like it's much bigger than we know. Like, the more we remember, we think of remembering as being memories. But to me, it's more of a metaphor. It's remembering is turning on these things. As we remember, we're turning on these things. Oh, I can do this. Oh, we can communicate telepathically. But it's a whole different, it's a natural thing. It's a natural thing, and the way that we hear it and experience it is by, like, and I know there's a lot of ways, and you just said it, like being present. But it's actually stopping and engaging everything, not looking away. Like I said, if there's something that doesn't feel vibrationally matched to you, then you just go somewhere else. I always look at it this way. Imagine that you're 5 years old, still pure and innocent, and just having that childlike wonder, and they put you and 4 other 5-year-olds into a giant room with a bunch of toys. They're going to go to what they like. Everyone's going to go to what they like. So we're not all the same on the surface, but we are the same underneath the surface. And that's the whole point. That's why there's such a propaganda, even with our history, division and separation. I mean, you can just see what's going on now. But is it even real? How much of this is AI? There's so many different questions you could ask, but really, those are all the same inducement. They're all created to pull our attention away from ourselves. And what we are starting to understand is that the more awareness we have of ourself, each step that I grow in that department, more self-awareness, more self-respect, more love, more responsibility, accountability, the more I have for you. It's just a natural thing. It's part of the natural thing because it attracts the peacock making the noise. It attracts other signs. It's the natural synchronicities and symbology. You know, it's not controlling.
Yeah.
It's protecting in the sense that you're calm and relaxed in your field. It doesn't externalize things in any other way other than, like you said, about the ice cream. Everything tastes better. Everything looks better. Even sitting at the beach the last couple of nights. I don't know what's going on, but there's movement. Like I can see like waves and different things and flashes. And I know I can feel it. There's more and more coming on. There's more and more happening. So, you know, like they say, we can only see like this much of the visible light spectrum, like 1%, 2, I don't know what the number is, but it's very low.
Yeah.
So imagine that. I mean, we can't just turn the lights on, you know, and all of a sudden, like, wow, it's crowded in here. It is crowded in here, but how can we be ready for that if we haven't acquainted ourselves with everything that's right in front of us? That's what Mother Nature tells me. Mother Nature tells me it's right here. You don't have to look out there, you know? I mean, I communicate with the stars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost the same as communicating with the tree, really. The trees, though, to me, are the number one thing. They are, to me, they are the elders. And the trees, you know, are the rocks, or they were trees, or there's just the rocks are the grandfathers. You know, I mean, it's the ocean is you know, bodies of water are incredible. Even taking a shower with the water, we miss these things. We, you know, in the overcomplication of the world and the programming and conditioning, but we're waking up to that. See, that's the thing. We're waking up to it, which is what. You know, what 9/11 ended up doing, waking up people. What did COVID end up doing? It's waking up people. Even waking up people that told us we were crazy, right? That's one thing a lot of us have in common. We became estranged from our families, not because of, you know, rifts or anything so much, but because we had to cultivate and evolve this path. And we've also found out that there's so many of us, really, when you get down to it, speaking the same language. And it's not a fad. It's not about viewers. It's not about views. It's not about community numbers or subscribers. It's not. It's pure freaking code. And as we exchange it with each other and it grows, abundance grows with it. It will come to us. It does come to us. I know too many people, including myself, that are living this lifestyle, and I would imagine you might be too, where you don't have a savings account, but you always have what you need, and you can see the magic and the flow and the continuity in the way the universe is meeting you, right? So it's a game changer. There's no doubt about it. No wonder they're fighting so hard to stop it, because they're going to lose everything they have, and they're going to be found out, and they're just bad actors playing that role, and I'm not going to get caught up in it, but this is changing fast, and it's not going to be what nobody has it. To me, nobody knows how it's going to go. You know, how it's going to play out. But I do think the second thing that I want to point out about what you said about the Tibetans is the love and compassion, because you can't be love unless you have compassion. It's like the mother's love. It's like the mother that never gives up on any of her children, no matter what. They could be an axe murderer in prison. She'd still go see him every week. You know, it's that. It's that. And the reason I think the compassion is important right now is because of the things being revealed. That to understand, for instance, why the victimizer did what they did, what happened to them, and I think a lot of people like me have found this resolution in their connection, their true energetic connection with their mother and father. Because we all have problems with our mother and father, most everybody. But that's the two main archetypes, and they're in the physical, or were with you, whether you grew up with them or you didn't grow up with them. And that is really our best mirrors, other than maybe relationships we get into of like partnership nature. Well, this is a cool conversation. I've enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah. Thank you. I loved hanging out with you. Yeah, just to continue along those lines is this connection with our mother, father, God, source, creator. I find if we can just sit in that frequency, in reverence, a lot of things can change. And a lot of our programs and issues, for example, with our own mother and father, can be resolved very quickly. Yes. There is one more share that I'd like to speak to. It's just something you were talking about in the programming earlier in your share. And I immediately wanted to go back to the magic and inspiring, the healing modality of art. So earlier in my conversation, I mentioned I'm quite well known for getting my students to draw upside down, so upside down imaging. And all of them will say, when I'm in class and we're drawing upside down, I will always tell them not to name what they're drawing. So look at the space or the angle or the shape, but don't name it as an eye or a foot or a tree. And this is because of how our brain has been working, because we were talking about our logical mind being more rewarded in many of in growing up. So that's how these programs become lodged inside. Sorry, the logical mind is here. And so when we name something, it's crazy to think that if you name a foot, you won't actually see what you're drawing, but you will draw what your logical mind thinks is a foot. And so imagine that in your life as a program. So you are seeing things in a way that if your logical mind has been rewarded and your creative mind is neglected, let's say, because of how we live life in the West, you can be seeing essentially something that's not true, but it's just what your logical mind is saying. It remembers as what is true. And so you can be seeing that. And so this blew my mind because, if we use our creative mind to see, and you don't necessarily need to do art to do that, we have a lot of other ways to access our creative mind. But this exercise in particular really opens up that pathway. And so the logical mind steps back and you actually really see. It's not a foot that you remember, it's a round space with a shadow in between, and it looks a little bit like square shaped with some little dents. And it's just this process of an exercise that opens up that brain pathway, and then you see in a whole new way. So this is just to say that, if we haven't seen miracles or magic, or if the earth is not speaking to us yet, we just need to lean into our creative mind And we realize that that may be a program because we are just seeing what we were programmed to see. And that's how our brain works. But we can, if we access other brain pathways, the whole magic of creation opens up. And of course, other things like abundance and freedom. And these are those steps that we can take as long as we have that intention and that belief and that faith and that connection to Mother, Father, Source, Creator, pure. We really have only magic to look forward to. Only good things can come.
Well, the only good thing is right here, right now. I'm not betting on anything tomorrow. Every morning we have an awakening every
Yeah,
morning, and
you're right.
it's
Yeah,
part. I mean, no, but this is really like what we're coming into. It's like even like every conversation is leading to the same place. It's
yeah,
becoming like that's why I say it's nothing we could imagine. It's far greater than we could imagine. I mean, if we're smart enough in the you, me, we, and it, the sense of the you, me, we, and it, the universe, to create a realm this distorted, this heavy and dense, to ultimately provide a new code for the universe. And if you look at the Earth, it's very much universally seeded. Many believe that it's the most universally seeded planet that's ever been made. Because if you look at it, look at all the different animals and flowers and fauna and galactic seeds and histories through the indigenous and the aboriginals. I mean, this is deep. That's why I made the comment about your painting, because to me, your painting carries energies, true energies in the spiral at the bottom, or the concentric circles, which is Atlantis. There's just so much there. There's so much there.
this is not even finished. This is not complete yet.
Oh, I don't imagine it is. I mean, but it's. So this is what you're talking about. Now, this is a picture to some people, but if you really look at it, it's energy, and it's not just your energy from
Yeah,
what we know as Nori. It's the energy that you carry in
no,
your, I would say it this way, in your non-physical DNA. I don't care how much they've tampered with DNA. That's part of the physicality. We're converting that physicality. We're converting all that fuckery and misalignment and distortion. And so this type of expression speaks to us, whether we're conscious of it or not. But this is no different than speaking to
yeah,
the bird or the tree. There's information in everything. And going back to what this whole show's been about, and thank you so much. It's been about it's taken the question of what is art to a whole nother level, because it really
oh yeah,
is. There's sacred geometry in that art. There's resonance in that art. There's history in that art. There's truth in that art. So, it's kind of a way that's never gone away, really, you know.
no.
So I really enjoyed meeting you. When are you going back to Portugal? You said you were going back to Portugal soon, right? In the summer or what?
Yeah. In about 1 month, I will be returning to Portugal. I have got the spring season when a lot of people bring me birds, so I rehabilitate birds. And just along your lines, I just wanted to add is I always tell my beautiful tribe when they're looking at a painting, say when they're looking at this painting, or if they're looking at one of the ancient sacred paintings, or even if you're looking at some coded work, to just allow the mind to sit in the back seat and become present in the body. And subtly, there will be a feeling somewhere along the body. And to just sit with that feeling, or can even feel sometimes like an electricity, or your hair's going up in the back of your neck. And the body understands, the body reads the codes. You don't have to have a logical explanation. Just sit with that and receive. in presence. And a lot of the time later, the explanation will come, or some synchronicity will happen, and you'll gain an understanding. But I always love to remind people is just let the logical mind sit in the back seat. Your body knows. Allow your body to read the codes.
Yeah, I think that's another characteristic I've noticed on the show for over a year. People talking about, including myself, that the body has a voice now. Like the body, you never thought of the body to be part of your monad. It's all the other non-physicals, right? And I'm starting to believe for myself. I'm not saying this is that the reason that the body is speaking so clearly, and I know it has for me, and I've talked about it, and I know other people, is because we have made so much progress in uniting the two hemispheres, the two essences of us. Because even though we still have, it seems like it never ends. That maybe that's the way it always is. But we've done a lot. We've made a lot of progress, and we can't forget that. And I believe as time goes on, we're going to give ourselves more and more credit for doing what we've done and knowing it later because of all the programming. And we're just little old humans. But no, we're much more than that. Everything's upside down, like you said. You draw upside down, so look at it that way. We're not these little defenseless humans. We are the opposite of that. So hey, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for coming in and sharing space and honoring us with your presence. Blessings of peace, grace, and love to you and your partner and all your loved ones and all your adventures. And let's talk again when you get back to Portugal.
Thank you so much, Todd. It's been such a blessing. Thank you.
Yeah, and tell the peacocks thanks, too.
I'm going to go right out and have a little chat with him now.
All right. You take care.